So what's up?
Correct. Well, I was kind of wondering if we don't do something about North Korea, they're going to continue, and eventually each one of their dictators has gotten worse. Well, what is your solution?
Well, define worse. I mean, 40 years,
More,
50 years ago,
more.
North Korea was.
They've gotten more. They started their nuclear program, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. Does that mean worse to you, or does that mean better
Okay.
to you?
Well, I didn't know if you were talking about like their standard of living has actually radically improved over the last 40 years, and they've gone from mostly a peasant agrarian economy to, I don't know if you saw the CNN special this week, but downtown Seoul actually looks like a modern city in many regards, or not Seoul, Pyongyang. It looks like a fairly modern city these days. But the question that I would ask you, John, is if North Korea gets nuclear weapons, and I mean they already have them, but let's say that they can put together a deliverable ICBM with a nuclear warhead. Mm-hmm. In fact, let me back this up a little bit. There are some nations, this was the big fear about communism that was used to sell us the Vietnam War in the 60s and 70s, was that communism was an evangelistic political philosophy and economic philosophy, and that we were afraid of that because people might buy into it, people might like it, the whole domino theory. So we had to stop it militarily because it was a toxic evangelical philosophy. Much of the world looks at the United States and says, you guys are pitching your idea of democracy to the rest of the world. Saudi Arabia said it right up front to us. We don't like your form of government. We have no interest in democracy. Stop trying to sell it to us. Just leave us alone. Let us be. North Korea, to the best of my knowledge, and I may be wrong on this, John, but to the best of my knowledge, other than the possibility of reunification with South Korea, which is something that would be negotiated like East and West Germany was, North Korea doesn't seem to be trying to conquer the world. I don't think Kim Jong-un wants a single extra mile of territory. I think he's got his hands full. So what is the threat of North Korea?
Hang on a second. Okay. I see your point there. That clearly makes sense to me. What has the United States done to make North Korea want to continue their nuclear program? What has the United States done?
They froze their program in the mid '80s with Bill Clinton. They froze the program. We basically paid them to freeze the program, and they unfroze the program literally the day after George W. Bush gave his Axis of Evil speech and identified Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. And at that point, they said, "Holy cow!" This was before he had invaded Iraq. And then, a few months later, when he invaded Iraq, Kim is going, boy, good thing I started that nuclear program, and I better get that little thing going full blast as fast as I can, and because that's the only thing that's going to prevent it. I think this is purely reactive. I think that they think that they're defending themselves. Now, again, I might be wrong, but I think I'm a pretty good observer of this. John, thanks for the call. Great to hear from you.